say defining like the more witchcraft occult topics because I've kind of neglected speaking about them for a while. And I figured probably one of the best ways to go back towards it is talking about, say, like classifications of goddess energy, such as the Maven, Mother, Crone, which is known as the triple aspect. And technically, there's also, I'm not sure if there's one established for the masculine. I would think it'd be something like lad, father, elder. I don't know. I got nothing for that one. So I'm gonna just let people come in, let it flow for a little bit. Nothing new really, but other than that, just another day by day. Nothing new has happened yet, but anyway. So the idea of a crone goddess. Well, usually by stereotype, when somebody says the word crone, usually immediately people think crone, old hag, old woman, someone who is really old, or a woman who is frail, and like a stereotypical old witch figure. Yeah, usually that's the first thing people tend to have in mind when they hear the word crone. And that's what happens when you allow stereotypes to rule over everything. But what if I was to tell you this? Crone goddesses are of the field, such as Hera, she's known as the Widow. Sekhmet is a crone. Nyx Nox is also a crone. Hel is a crone. Lilith is a crone. Now you're probably thinking, how is Lilith a crone? Simple. She's primordial. Primordial instantly makes a crone. But to actually kind of clarify it, a crone goddess has a lot of experience, has a lot of knowing of how everything works, how easily it can be manipulated, what makes it tick, for lack of a better way of describing it. They have a extremely established and very firm foundation in their core values and what they push. They obviously have the wisdom and intelligence, but as well, the crone, when it comes to the three, the crone is also the one that's the most quote unquote fun. How is the crone fun? Knowing that they have the wisdom and the experience and the intellect over so long of years of existing. They know how to have the most fun. They know how to really enjoy life because they have the experience and they have the understanding. Baba Yaga is another example as a crone goddess. And if you know about Baba Yaga, she is whimsical and unpredictable, but that's what makes her her. And the whole energy of a crone is also practical, realistic, 3D, and is the one that provides the most reality checks, despite also being the one that's the most fun. from the crone, the maven and the mother have something to stand on. Without the crone, everything falls. That's why that's why the idea of when an elder dies, they go back into the earth and then they support from there, as an example. Usually, crone goddesses, they either tend to have association with the dead or anything regarding that's passed on, the darkness, such as some examples again. Lilith is one, Hecate is one, Nyx is one, Hel is one. Sekhmet wasn't about darkness, but she was about rage, but also healing and restoration, which, funny enough, how she was sent into a rage and then got intoxicated, and then from there was actually able to restore the damage she's done. And that is a Crone aspect. Realizing the realizing the damage that's been done, but then going back and then correcting it, that is a kind of a Crone way, or actually a Saturnian way of actually going back and doing what is just and having the karmic, I just want to say karmic backhand into going back and fixing what you damaged and repair it. And also, primarily, every Crone goddess has some to quite a lot of Saturnian energy. Saturnian because Saturn is a planet that is all about order, structure, discipline, organization, structure, society, rebellion, but like rebellion against like stupidity, maintaining tradition, maintaining the handed down generations, stuff that is traditional, duty, commitment, sacrifice, protection, grounding, the foundation where everything else can stand on. All Crone goddesses somehow, some way do exhibit that kind of energy. Usually, as well, Crone goddesses may be at times sometimes the most one of the most challenging to go towards sometimes, but it just depends on the goddess because not all Crone goddesses, such as here's a good example is Hel. If you're not really understanding of how Hel is and how she exhibits herself and how she expresses herself and how she comes towards you, if you're not prepared for that for the first time, it may be very difficult at first. And some, like Lola, for example, you have no idea what she's going to do. It's important to understand having clarity before you approach in the first place. Why you're approaching, what do you want to get out of this? What's your end result? What are you trying to accomplish by going towards this Crone goddess? Always have your intention crystal clear before you just decide, I'm going to go towards Lilith and see what happens. Lilith, stop. I'm not going to come towards you because you say my name over and over again. Lazy. Hmm. Potentially, maybe I would consider Tiamat as a Crone. Potentially. However, I can't say 100% set in stone because I'm not really that familiar with her. However, being the goddess of the dead of the dead no wait no not Dead Sea. Of, I think it was either Salt Sea something. However, she being pretty much the creator and essentially her long history can potentially point towards that. However, she may potentially be somewhat same classification as Nyx's, which is Mother and Crone. Nyx being a primordial goddess and having everything come from her, there's the mother aspect, but Crone because she's like grandmother to literally everything that exists, for lack of a better way of putting it. But now, why is Hera considered part of the Crone? The triple aspect has Maven, Mother, Crone. Youth, adult, and elder. So with Hera, you have the pretty much the bride. Hey Jeremy, you have the bride for the maiden, not maven. Bride goes with maiden, wife goes with mother, and crone has widow. Because when you have the bride, that's the most youthful between the terms of like marriage and unionship. Wife goes to mother because that's in the middle. Once you're married, that's in the middle. And then when you have it become the elder, usually the elder is widowed because the significant other passes on because of an ending of somebody's life or tragic ending, or even potentially it could even said about divorce too, but can't really go in that direction. But it is potential. So the idea though with the crone is essentially focusing mainly on the wisdom they have, the strictness they have, and the intelligence that they have, and as well as not forgetting that sometimes, even though you have a lot of experience in something, that doesn't mean you have to always be hard headed and very uptight and very about it. Because, like I said in the beginning, the crone is also the aspect that knows how to have the most fun and is also the most wild. Because, think about it, if you have been on this earth for a long time and now you're much older, like in your senior elder years, wouldn't it make sense to actually learn after all your time on Earth to know, oh, I know exactly how to have the real fun, and you youngsters don't know Jack Snapple. Sure though, because since they have so much experience on Earth already, how to really get things the most fun and the most enjoyable because of experience. And I'm actually going to share from a deck that I have. I'm just finding the one card. And the deck that I'm going to be using this reference from is the Black Alchemy Tarot by two friends Curtis and Gary. And in this depiction for the Hermit, we have the Cunning Woman. If you notice right there, there's the Crone figure. See, there she is, the Crone, and the sign of Virgo. Usually the sign of Virgo, even though it is known to be very critical and very focused on critiquing and purging any impurity, although that may be, but at the same time, the Elder, the Crone, is also rather able to withstand any kind of hardship, any kind of challenge, or any kind of difficulty that comes her way. Because again, well, being a crone, she's not new here. She has been here for a while. So she more than definitely would be just all, oh, okay, I know what to do. Move out of the way, kid. But if you also notice, at least with this card depiction, you'll see above her head that there's a congregation happening above her head. So that can kind of show how vast the mind of a crone can be. There's so much in there, and there's so many possible ideas and thoughts and theories and whatever she's coming up with in her head. And she's just awestruck by it because she's Despite being an elder and knowing so much of her time on this planet or in existence already, she still is awe-stricken from how much she is still learning. And she is very cunning about it, just like with Baba Yaga. Quite unpredictable, hence, well, looks like it's fairies dancing above her head, but either way. But just like Baba Yaga, although she may seem frail, but that's what she wants you to think. She wants you to think, oh, she's frail, old, can't really do anything. That is your big whoops. Because the Crone, again, is not new here and knows how to put you right under your tush and then laugh at you for letting your guard down. And also, the elder in, like, say, American Native tribes, and even in, say, pretty much in any culture, the elder was also usually seen and looked up to for doing any of the working that involves, like, say, shamanism, working with, like, medicine, um, herbal medicine. Usually it is the elder who is the one in charge for that. Because, yet again, elder is not new here. Crone is not new here. They have been here for quite some time. They have seen everything from somebody eating oleander and then noting it down, okay, do not eat that plant, to actually seeing a lot of prosperity and a lot of gain happen around them. And then they just retain it and then they just keep regurgitating it over and over and over to the young dim-witted folks, having hope that they were paying attention. Usually, ones that also give you the most real information, the most real teaching is again the Crone. Because again, I can't stress this enough. They're not new here. They have been here and they've seen most biggest mistakes of mankind. So they probably more than likely will give the best advice and the best guidance, even though it might be point blank. And even even to like elder figures and those that are older, like really in age, it is vital, and I'm saying that word again, it is vital you take care of them and you preserve them and everything that they went through and retain it. Because believe it or not, once the elder passes, if what they've taught and what they were about and what they have brought with them, if it's not retained, it's gone. And once it's gone, that handed down tradition or what was handed down in that specific family, it's gone forever. That's why it is important to document and pretty much preserve it, regardless of what it is. The worst thing that can actually happen to anybody is literally when they pass away, they get forgotten about because that's essentially the last death, the third death. The first death is the physical death. The second one is the death of saying pretty much goodbye at like a funeral, and then there's that death. But the death of memory is that essentially they are forgotten about, and that's the last death. Because if you're forgotten about, pretty much you don't exist. And that's kind of a harsh way of putting it. So I'm going to see any questions at all. Hey, Annis, and hey, Lou. Jeremy's there. And pretty much really that's what I got about the Crone. And usually I would say if you're going to be expanding and starting to go towards like interacting with divinity and trying to see which divinities you connect to, I'll kind of give you a little bit of a sneaky trick. of mine. Essentially, what you do is this. Don't mind me using a pink pen. It's either that or I use my own blood, and I don't think we would want that. So, so say for an example, you're wanting to figure out, okay, I want to figure out which Crone goddess best resonates or best suits me, even though I have no idea where to start and I have no idea what I'm doing. Put it simply, what you would do is essentially say this out loud, and I'm going to read it out once I write it. Because this way actually makes you not have to do all the heavy legwork. And yes, it's kind of long, but still. And what's really funny, this is just one sentence. That is just one sentence. And it's not a run on. And you don't have to use specifically 24 hours. It could be 48 hours, however long you deem fit, but make it a little bit more than just a minute. I would say 24 hours is minimum. Gives it a whole day, at least. So you would say something like this. Within the next 24 to 48 hours, whichever time frame, at least minimum 24, within the next 24 hours, I ask the Crone goddess who is most fitting to my understanding and provides me the best guidance. Please make yourself known, and in a way I will know with perfect clarity. Again, within the next 24 hours, I ask the Crone goddess who is most fitting to my understanding and provides the best guidance to me. Please make yourself known and in a way that I will know with perfect clarity. That way, you won't have to be going trial and error and realizing I'm not feeling this one. This she doesn't work with me. There's something that's not just right with her. This goddess isn't clicking with me just right. This way, it's backwards. You're calling out to whomever it is to come towards you. Again, it takes out all the heavy legwork and it makes things easier and simple. And the one that is the most fitting will come towards you and will pretty much let you know in a way where you can't miss it. And that will be different for everybody. It may be just seeing a name, it may be just hearing it be spoken, might be reading and see the name. And yeah, tasting her name will work, but or even seeing like a piece of, excuse me, like a piece of artwork or a statue, you get the idea. And that way you'll be able to connect and figure out which goddess it is and make it so much easier than just playing, let's see, instead of playing trial and error to figure out which one will and which one won't be as fitting as it should be. So right now, I'm just going to leave it up to the floor, to anything and everything. Any questions, and if you want cardstock thrown at you, just let me have the know. How can I go out of this? But anyway, oh, and yes, Hell, matron goddess of mine. Yes, she is a crone as well. Because again, funny enough, Hell is not the first Hell. There was another Hell before her, who also was named Hell, funny enough. Name spelled the same dominion, just it was a different Hell. In the way that each Hell specifically carries Helheim and takes care of the dead, completely different. One Hell is more dedicated and more committed and is more in line and is more attentive to the dead, serves them, caretakes to them, provides comfort, serves them. While the other one pretty much was only there just to pretty much hold the space and was somewhat neglectful in allowing them just to wander, not allowing the dead just to wander as they need fit up until her retirement. And then that's when the Hell that we know now got her position as the new ruler of Hell, who was also named Hell. Ugh. Well, all right then. That is a rather, that's a kind of an odd one to have for the Five of Swords, in my opinion. For this Five of Swords in the Goetic Tarot of Darkness, the Five of Swords, it's Duke Amdicius, the one that's the unicorn and pretty much makes trees dance in the wind. Venus and Pisces, That's an Exalted Venus placement, though. Five of Swords, not really jiving with that one. But I mean, I get it, though. Let's see here. I'll just put myself in the spot. Just to practice with this deck, because, I mean, I've used this deck a few times, but I still need to practice with it. And I can tell you this much, this deck is not at all beginner friendly. Because if you just read it by what card it is and you just read it by the textbook definition, you're not really using this deck to its fullest potential. When you use this deck to its fullest potential is actually when you actually read on top of it the specific Goetic divine and attribute their attributes to the reading and also this deck at the same time. It has no color, and that's the point. Because it forces you to actually use your subconscious and bring it to the forefront in order to see messages in the card. It forces you to do that. If you can't do that, if 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 you prefer to have decks that are like rainbows and glitter all over the place, this deck is not going to be for you. In fact, you might not even like this deck because like it's so monochrome. That's the point. Not everything has to be all glittery and overly colorful and woozy-wooey. Sometimes life is simple, going back to the coloration of like Steamboat Willie. What do I know? You guys are probably too young to even know what Steamboat Willie is. And that's ironic for me to say that. Let's see. But in Aquarius, we have Cimes, Cimeis, the Chariot, which is funny because Moon in Aquarius. Oh, that's my moon. That's my moon placement. Alrighty then. Isn't it a full moon tonight too? Full moon in Aquarius. Something's fishy, and it's not me. I don't like fish. Hmm. I know fishy when I smell it, and believe me, I have an intense dislike and intense fear of fish. Hate the smell, hate being anywhere near them, do not like them at all. So, chariot, countering or pretty much being crossed by is Sun in Scorpio, King, I think he's a king, King Vine, I believe. And it is the Sun card, or the Black Sun, in the background. We have a lion and a horse, and then the black, looks like Rahu in the back. So we have an Aquarius moon encountering a Sun Scorpio. I mean, I have a few ideas of who potentially that could be, or I could just be encountering the Sun. Oh boy. Encountering, I mean, the cause of all this is Bifron, like Bifrons, Two of Cups. Mars in Scorpio. So far we have a lot of Scorpio so far. So we have a Sun Scorpio, and now we have a Mars Scorpio. I'll have you know, I actually like Scorpio. Thank you very much. Don't be hating that, they may overkill you, but that's the point. But hey, they're the most devoted. Yes, you heard me right. And I didn't stutter. Behind me, backing me up, you. Behind me or backing me up is Hornius, Four of Pentacles, Moon in Leo. Holding on, looks like he's holding a shield. Right? On top of my head, or the best case scenario that can possibly come about. You. It is Mars in Virgo. Fur. Oh, fur. Oh, fur. Oh, fur. Talk about incoming hot and really fast and hot. Funny enough, I believe, um, um, what was it? I think it was something about the idea that fur was related to the word Bran in somehow, which is also related to the god of the netherworld. And funny enough, that Bran is a part of my name. So when I was doing research on the Page of Cups, that fits perfectly. And I was doing research on fervor just to understand it a bit better. I saw that word Bran and thinking, where have I seen this before? And then I remember on this name plaque that I have, it actually showed on there the same word, Bran, being translated to God of the Netherrealm. I saw them thinking, very clever, very clever. I'll give you that one, because I was not expecting that. Then coming right for the face, going for the jaw, and doing the uppercut. Coming face bound is I just hear that conga line again. It is King Paimon with the Ten of Swords, Sun in Taurus. Dun, dun. Yeah, you can even just see the card and you think, oh boy, there's the horns. Where's the conga line? Dun, 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 dun. Hey. And again, there's that same black sun right there, just like with King Vine. So we have two suns, wait. So we have one moon, we have two moons, two suns, two Marses, wait, two suns, two moons, two Marses. Okay, I'm just gonna nod and just go with it. Self-perception or self-viewpoint. Let go. Self-perception is Venus in Libra for Buckler, Six of Pentacles, which I should have cut again. That's the ship. outside perception. Outside perception is the Nine of Pentacles, Cane, Mercury in Sagittarius, hoping for but also deathly afraid of. Hoping for King Beleth, Five of Wands, Sun in Gemini. So now we have three suns. Okay, now the most likely outcome to come about. Most likely outcome to come about is Lucifer, Venus in Capricorn. And typical stereotype in this deck, he is you guessed it, the Devil card. But we're taking this for a different twist. It's the Devil card, okay? Now here's the thing. But it is probably, if not the most focused intention that Lucifer has. Bringing enlightenment to mankind, but also on top of that, also bringing enjoyment to man. And what's the devil? Living life and living hard, enjoying it and indulging with your senses and everything around you. Having fun, but also knowing when enough's enough, having that enlightened awareness. Also being a devil's advocate when need be, knowing when enough's enough, and putting the bottle down. So then clarifying with Lucifer, we have Gujan, Temperance, Venus in Taurus. That's an own sign. With Mercury in Leo, Glacia Labalas, Eight of Wands, and last but not least, we have Sapnok, Moon in Scorpio, Knight of Swords. And Moon in Scorpio is known as the position where Moon gets quote unquote pissed off because Moon is now in the dark, unpredictable water. And she is terrified. Unless if it's a waning moon or if it's a dark moon. And Moon instead is like, bring it. I'm not scared. Three advice cards for me, if you would. Number one, we have the Vessel, or Ace of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Next one, two, Prince Seer, Jupiter in Pisces, own sign, Eight of Cups. And Amy, Mercury in Capricorn. So So about the King Paimon with the Ten of Swords. So what is having the immense celebration of having kicked the bucket? What kicked the bucket? What kicked the bucket is the Fool, Venus and Aries. The idiot kicks the bucket, and then what comes from the Fool's bucket being kicked is Venus in Scorpio, Three of Cups, Duke Vol. There is a lot of Scorpio in this. Clarify the Four of Pentacles, if you would. Okay. Even beat me to the card being flipped. It is Vapula, Venus in Capricorn, Seven of Cups. Holding on to what in the world is going on here? Because this depiction, Vapula, is depicted with so many lion heads and they're all confused looking. Clarify Furfur, please. Why is the best likely outcome for my favor Furfur or the Page of Cups? Why is that? Well, because one, the only Animaniac who I can't live without, the Duke Dantalion. Yes, yes, yes. I called him an Animaniac because he's funny, okay? And I'll have you know, he has pretty clever insults. And if he doesn't do that with you, he probably isn't comfortable with you yet. But once he's comfortable, I hope you know you have a way of getting oxygen back in your system because you'll probably die of laughter. Take my warning. That makes me see myself as the Six of Pentacles. Because of the Four of Cups, Mercury in Scorpio, President Hagante. And why am I being seen as the Nine of Pentacles? Being seen as the Nine of Pentacles because, yep, my card came out. But funny enough, of all the ones to actually be my card, Queen of Cups, it happens to be Prince Citru, which kind of actually with this depiction fits. Because believe it or not, the Queen of Cups is a figure that knows the deepest unconditional love possible. And to actually tie Citru with that card, with the idea of exposing yourself, you are actually giving the other person the 100% as you are, both good, bad, and dreadful. Take take it or leave it. And doing that, if you're still being loved and appreciated and adored by the other person, no matter what you look like or what you have, that's a hindrance. Having that knowing of being able to be in a state of being vulnerable to the most possible degree and still being loved for it, that does solidify a strong, everlasting, potent bond because you have flawless security with them, and nobody else can actually match that. That is, if you find said person that can do that. And Furcos, the Hermit, Shani in Sagittarius, and I think he's the only knight in this deck. But in all seriousness, if you actually want to get a tarot deck that actually best depicts these divines respectfully in a really gorgeous way, this is the, if not best, deck to actually work with. Because the artwork, I just love how every specific device is depicted. It's unique, it's in the dark, and the deck just flows perfectly, in my opinion. And gets a literally 5 out of 5. But again, remember, like I said in the beginning, this deck is not beginner friendly. It is not at all. You may think, well, it does have like what card is associated with. Yep, but if you read it just by the book, you're not using the deck as it's intended to be used for. Look beyond just the card readings. Look at the image and put your face into it. And it's funny because with this deck, there in the original Kickstarter edition, like with the cards actually being printed on silver metal cardstock, metal, and the cards were holographic because of the shimmer effect by the metal. There were alternate arts for Lucifer's card, the Magician, and Lilith's card, being Astrate. However, the one for the Magician was actually, funny enough, a, a depiction of King Solomon. And now you're probably thinking, well, what good is that? Well, the depiction actually looks like King Solomon shitting himself. Like, what did I just got myself into? I think he's surrounded by like a good multitude of the left-handed lions, like surrounding him, ready to jump him. And I mean, I found that kind of funny because I mean, if it did come with the mass-produced edition, I probably would use that one as use that one card as like a cup coaster or something like that. Yeah, just to give it a bit of a to him. Now, don't look at me, because it's not my fault that he thought it might be a good idea to be a little bit cruel and force these divine beings to do what he wants because he thinks that Yahweh is above all and can do whatever he wants and will protect him. No, not really. I mean, as far as I know, he's Solomon would have been best said one of them. He who funks. But anyway, since it's been pretty much dead for the past hour, I'm gonna call it, and I will pretty much just see you guys on the next live, which probably I might have it open for, or you can just leave your suggestions down below in the comments what you want me to cover next, and I guess I'll just see you from there.